Hi, my name is Jeff Merkich, and today I'm going to be doing my evaluation speech. I'm going to briefly scan the audience. I have my two Australian Shepherds, Mason and Bentley, as you can see, my mom and my wife Jade, who's going to be recording. Now I'm going to be handing the phone off to her, and then once I walk into the room is when you can begin timing my speech. Hi everyone. Just a fun fact, just to start things off. I wanted to say that Australian Shepherds have actually been around for several hundred years, since the 1800s to be exact, and they derived from Europe. Just a quick personal testimony. I learned about this breed nearly 6 years ago when I adopted my first Aussie. 3 years ago, I adopted my second Aussie, whose name is Mason. Just as a quick reference, I wanted to pull up a visual aid for you. As you can see here, this one is Mason. He is a purebred Blue Merle Australian Shepherd, as you can tell from the markings. And Bentley, he is a red tri, because he has the brown and white interlaced within his coat. Also, I wanted to briefly explain how there are different colors and markings for this breed, because there's several different coats other than the two that I just displayed. And as you can see here, here's just a quick reference guide for the coats on Australian Shepherds. You have your black and white Australian Shepherds. You have your Blue Merles, which Mason would actually be a Blue Merle with the white intermixed in his coat, since he doesn't have white and tan. And Bentley, as I said, he's a red tri, because he has the brown and white interlaced. And then you have your Red Merles with tan. So today I wanted to talk about the advantages and disadvantages of having an Australian Shepherd, because there are many advantages and several disadvantages that come along with them as well. Some of the advantages include that they are very easy to train because they are so smart, and they are extremely loyal as well, and they are an exceptional work dog. However, the several disadvantages that I'm going to talk about is that they're very energetic, sometimes too energetic. They sometimes have social behaviors as well, if not trained properly, and they can sometimes develop separation issues. Let's begin with the first advantage. The advantage of owning an Aussie is that they're very easy to train. They have legendary herding skills because they were bred to work on farms as cattle dog and herd sheep and livestock. This requires a great deal of strength and agility, and also intelligence, because they are an extremely smart breed. They love to please their owners. My Aussies, for example, know many tricks. Bentley and Mason both can sit, give paw, and interchange paws when, using treats. And they even know how to jump, and many more, actually. Let's examine the second advantage. Aussies, as I said, are extremely loyal dogs. They always want to be where their owner is. They typically only attach themselves to 1 to 2 people, though, however, because those are the people that mean the most to them. So they're not very keen to new faces and other dogs. My Aussies, they pretty much follow my every move. Whenever I'm getting up out of the living room to go into the bedroom or what have you, they're always right on my heels. They're also very protective of their owners. They're always alert. And from a personal experience, they have what's called a fake play, which can sometimes be misinterpreted. Sometimes my wife and I will be wrestling and such, and they'll see that as an act of violence. So they get very upset when they see that, because they don't understand that that's just play, we're in play mode. So they see that as a potential threat, so then they get upset. Lastly, the third advantage I want to discuss is that Aussies are exceptional work dogs. As I mentioned, they need to work and play to stay happy and balanced, because they require mental and physical exercise. And according to a few studies, at least 1 to 3 hours is recommended, because they are such a hyper dog. They require a lot of work and play balance to keep themselves busy. Now let's dive into the disadvantages, because these are extremely important prior to owning an Australian Shepherd. The first disadvantage I want to discuss is that Aussies are extremely energetic, sometimes too energetic. They need ample space to run, owners, or exercise to keep them active and busy. So it's recommended to have a large open space, such as a fenced-in yard, where they can run and get plenty of exercise. And sometimes if they don't receive enough exercise, this can result in destructive behavior. If not kept busy, they'll find something to do. I can guarantee that. Sometimes it may be destructive behavior or chewing on something that they're not supposed to keep busy, because that's their way of saying, hey Dad, I'm bored. Let's move on and examine the second disadvantage. Aussies can develop social behaviors if not trained properly. They can be disruptive sometimes around other dogs and people that they're not familiar with. Unsocialized Aussies can create disturbances that can include barking and or sometimes even aggressiveness. And so it's very important to correct undesired behavior while they're young, because if you don't teach them when they're young, then this behavior will transition into adulthood, and then that'll be a habit that'll be very hard to break once they're older. Lastly, the third disadvantage that I want to mention today is that Aussies, as I said, have separation issues and anxiety sometimes, because they're very attached to only a select few individuals. So separation anxiety affects both humans and animals. This can create distress when their owners leave the house. For instance, my dogs, they get very upset when my wife and I will leave the house, even if it's only for an hour or so. And ignoring this issue can lead to further health problems in the future. So as I said, it's important to correct this behavior while they're young and work with them and crate train them and socialize them around other dogs, just so they don't develop future issues. Now, I just want to say that Aussies are a special breed in which owning one can warrant an emotional decision. It's not something that you should just jump right into. They come along with many advantages that include being easily trained. As I said, they're a very loyal companion, and they're very exceptional work dogs. They also have some disadvantages, as I said, such as being full of energy, having unwanted behaviors if not trained properly, and they sometimes possess separation issues. But it all varies based on the dog and how you raise them and how they're treated. So I want you to think about all the responsibility that comes with having a child, if you don't already have a child. Do you feel as if you're prepared to take care of a child? Because if you answered no, then this is probably not the right time to consider owning an Australian Shepherd, because they are very similar to having a child. However, if you answered yes, then I would highly recommend you using this presentation as a guide to help you make an informed decision and do some more research to looking into the Australian Shepherd, because they truly are an amazing breed. Thank you.